Hello, my name is Alfred. Welcome to Flying Colors Tutorial, the best tutorial center for WAEC Jamb post-UTME students. We are powered by Nigerian Schools Info. In this section, we'll be looking at Jamb past questions CRS. We've done question 1 to 5 in our last video. If you missed the last video, I would advise you go back to our last videos, question 1 to 5. And before we begin, I will ask all our listeners to please subscribe to our channel. Subscribe, like, and share to your friends. Okay, so today let's look at number 6. That's JAM CRS past questions year 2000. Number 6 says, God told Solomon that he would surely tear the kingdom from him and give it to his option A, son, option B, brother, option C, servant, option D, army commander. So this question now, you will see this question in the book of First Kings 11 verse 11. That's where God was telling Solomon that he would tear the kingdom from his hand and give it to who? So the correct answer for number 6 is servant. The correct answer is servant. So why did God tell Solomon, I would remove this kingdom from your hand and give it to your servant? The heart of Solomon turned away from the Lord. He started worshiping other gods. You understand? So that was the reason why God told Solomon that he would remove this kingdom from his hand and give it to his servant. His heart that's King Solomon's heart, turned away from God. He started worshiping other gods. And you know, the worship of idols is a grievous sin to God. If we check all the kings, once they consult an idol, or turn to worship of idols, God will instantly send a prophet to reject them. Is a crime that has unseated many kings in the Bible. So that was why Solomon was rejected. God told him that he would remove the kingdom from his hand and give it to his servant. So what led to this turning away? What led to this turning away? You know, Solomon was a man of great wealth, a man of great wisdom, and that made him ended up marrying 700 princesses and 300 concubines, which were not part of Judea, which were not part of Israel. So with these too many multiple wives, they introduced him to many gods. They turned him away from God. And even at that, God still appeared to Solomon 2 times, telling him not to worship other gods. 2 times, God appeared to Solomon, telling him not to worship other gods. But Solomon still continued on his disobedience. So that's why God said, I will take away this kingdom from you and give it to your servant. So who was this servant who took over from Solomon? Who is this servant? Who is this servant? Who is the servant that took over from Solomon? The servant is Jeroboam. Jeroboam is the servant who took over from Solomon, and he ruled Judea for 22 years. He ruled for 22 years, and Jeroboam had 2 sons. That's what we're looking at Jeroboam now. That's the servant that took over from Solomon. He had 2 sons, Nadab and Abijah. So it was Nadab that replaced Jeroboam after 22 years. After 22 years. But God told Solomon something when he was telling him that I will take away this kingdom from your hands. He told him, but for the sake of your father David, and the respect I have for Jerusalem, I will leave one tribe for your son Rehoboam. I will leave one tribe for your son Rehoboam. I want you to understand the difference between Jeroboam and Rehoboam. Jero, that Jero, is the servant. that God took the kingdom from Solomon and gave it to him. So Jero is the servant. Jero is the servant. Rehoboam is the son of King Solomon who took the smaller kingdom out of respect for David and Jerusalem. So that is the kingdom was divided into two because of King Solomon's turning away from God. So that is it for number six. So number six, why did God tear away the kingdom from him? He turned away from God. And who did God take from Solomon and give to? He took the kingdom from Solomon and gave it to his servant Jeroboam. So let's go to number seven. We are still looking at CRS Jamb past questions year 2000, year 2000. Okay, number seven says, why did Joab kill Abner? Why did Joab kill Abner? Option A, he wanted to avenge the death of his brother. Option B, he feared that Abner could take over his post. Option C, Abner only came to deceive David. Option D, he was an enemy who came to spy on David. Let's take question number seven again. Why did Joab kill Abner? Why did Joab kill Abner? Option A, he wanted to avenge the death of his brother. Option B, he feared that Abner could take over his post. Option C, Abner only came to deceive David. Option D, he was an enemy who came to spy on David. So the question is, why did Joab kill Abner? Why did Joab kill Abner? The correct answer is option A. Option A for question number seven. He wanted to avenge the death of his brother. That's why Joab killed Abner. You'll find this answer in 2 Samuel chapter 3, verse 27. You will find the answer to question 7 in 2 Samuel chapter 3, verse 27. So, who is the brother of this Joab that killed Abner? The brother is Asher. Asher is the brother of Joab. If you go through that 2 Samuel chapter 3, verse 27, I believe you will have a better understanding. So why did Abner, the one who was killed by Joab, why did he kill Asher, the brother of Joab? Let's look at the background of the question. I think if you look at that 2 Samuel chapter 2, 18 to 23, you will see the reason why Abner killed Asher. I hope I'm not too fast. The answer to number 7, Joab killing Abner, is in the book of 2 Samuel chapter 3, verse 27. That's where you will see that Joab killed Abner to avenge the death of his brother. So now we are looking at the background of the question. Why then did Abner kill the brother? Bringing the reason for the vengeance. You understand now? So you will find the reason why Abner killed the brother of Joab in the book of 2 Samuel chapter 2, 18 to 23. 2 Samuel chapter 2, 18 to 23. So it was after the war, as Abner was riding out of battle. Asher, maybe in excitement or in, I don't know, maybe in brother excitement, he was chasing after Abner. And Abner kept warning him, stop following me. Stop following me. Ashel, stop following me. Out of respect for his brother Joab. Stop following me. Stop following me. So, in an attempt to stop Ashel from following him, Abner, he struck him with the blunt side of his spear, but it ended up killing him. he struck him with a spear, and the spear went through his back. So that's how Ashel died. So when Ashel died, Joab started plotting his vengeance for Abner. I hope that question is clear. At any point you are confused, drop your comments. We'll be available to clear your confusions. So that is all for question 7. Why did Joab kill Abner? The answer is option A. He wanted to avenge the death of his brother. You understand? So the dead brother is Asher. I've mentioned two scriptures in relation to this question. That's 2 Samuel chapter 3, verse 27. Then you cross-reference it with 2 Samuel chapter 2, 18 to 23. Hello, we are looking at question 8 now. We are moving to question 8. CROS past questions year 20000. That's year 2000. There's a reason why we are looking at Jamb past questions. There's a reason why we are doing tutorial on Jamb past questions. We're not doing it just to waste our time. Study of past questions is a major key to passing exams like Jamb and WAEC. So if you are preparing for JAM, you are preparing for WAEC, your study, your preparation may not be complete if you have not studied your past questions. So that's why we are doing this tutorial, to help students study their past questions. And there's a reason why we always keep giving the background study, all the explanations on each questions. Maybe out of our explanations, as you pay attention, out of our explanations, it will help you answer further questions. You understand? For each questions, we always explain, give the background, give the scriptures, give another explanation, just to balance everything. So if you pay very good attention to our explanations and background stories and all that, it will help you answer further questions. Maybe a question that we might not even handle in this tutorial. The question will just pop up. Oh, you will just remember, oh, we mentioned it in the tutorial. The father of this is this. The reason for this is this. So that's the reason for all this background explanation and all that. So I will encourage you to pay attention. No knowledge is a waste. Pay attention, and you never know which one will help you out. So let's go back to number 8. That's question number 8 for CROS year 2000. So number 8 says, when God told Abraham that Sarah could have a child, Abraham laughed because. Let me take the question again. When God told Abraham that Sarah could have a child, Abraham laughed because option A, he already had a child by Hagar. Option B, his wife Sarah was barren. Option C, his wife was too old to have a child. Option D, he was amused by the promise. In option A, they mention Hagar. I hope you remember who Hagar is. Hagar is the slave of Sarah. That's the servant of Sarah. At some point when they were both stricken in age, Sarah told Abraham to take in Hagar and see if she can bear a child, because she too was too old. So Abraham agreed and took Hagar in. So with the meeting of Abraham and Hagar, they gave birth to Ishmael. Ishmael. So that's why Hagar is here. Hagar is the servant of Sarah that gave birth to Ishmael for Abraham. So question 8, God told Abraham that Sarah could have a child. Abraham laughed. So we are looking at Abraham laughed because the correct answer here is option C. Option C is the correct answer here. His wife was too old to have a child. You will see this question and the answer in Genesis 17, verse 17. Genesis chapter 17, verse 17. If you read that scripture, it will, some translations will tell you Abraham laughed. Abraham bowed his face to the ground and laughed in disbelief, saying, how can a man 100 years and my wife 90 years give birth to a child? So he just bowed his head and just laughed in disbelief. So the reason for that laughter was because his wife was too old to have a child. At the time God told Abraham this, Abraham was 100 and Sarah was 90. You could just imagine Sarah, old woman of 90. You know all the story of menopause science, all these things. So Abraham was stricken in age, Sarah was old. So he just laughed. He just laughed. How can this happen? How can this be? How can this be? So the reason for that laughter was that option C, his wife was too old to have a child.